I have been wanting to film outside for so long, but there's always something that happens. So I did a few test runs and fingers crossed, you guys, this is gonna work because it is so beautiful outside. And today's one of those days that I wish I could add at least another 4 or 5 hours to it, which I don't usually say that much. I'm pretty satisfied usually most days. But I am in Michigan right now. It is 78 degrees and it is perfection. And even how I got to spend my day has been perfection, and I'm really just appreciating it. I hope you are feeling the same way today because wow, it's just one of those days where it reminds you of how to really slow down. In fact, I actually made time to sit outside and read my book. And that's one of those things that I say I'm gonna do and I never make time for. What is my purpose? What is your purpose? This is one of the most talked about subjects, thought about subjects. I thought it was time for us to talk about it together here because it has been a huge part of what has driven me. My understanding of it and relationship to it over the years has definitely changed. Just the idea of a purpose. What is our soul's purpose? Isn't it interesting that we're all aware of that? And it drives so many of us. And yet there are so many people who may not necessarily identify with having a soul or the spiritual realm or anything like that. It's very interesting to me how spirituality always finds a way of confirming an instinct that you had. One of the biggest reasons why I think it is such a thought about and talked about topic, and even if you're not having one-on-one conversations with people about it, we all know about it. We think about it. People write about it. We read about it. It's everywhere. And what's interesting is I really think that the reason why we're all kind of seeking to know what our soul purpose is because we believe that when we discover what it is, we will feel a certain way once we discover it, and we will feel the best that we can feel otherwise. And so what's interesting is that most of us are seeking our soul purpose outside of us, when the whole reason we want to find it is that we feel a certain way within. I think that a lot of people too often connect their soul purpose with what they should be doing and how they should be spending their time. And yeah, I mean, the long-term goal is that we get to spend all of our time loving our lives and loving what we're doing and loving what we're putting out into the world. But I also feel that the discovery of it is part of our journey. And it's not necessarily what we think it is. I used to say that I didn't want to do something really creative and put all of my dependency on that because I didn't want to put the pressure on a creative outlet and something that I love doing and then not enjoy it anymore because now I'm dependent on it for my survival. I still really resonate with this, but a lot has changed for me since I was in that much more logical, rational, male energy focus of life. And there is still truth to that. But I believe that our soul purpose is a lot more about how we're showing up in the world and the impact that we're making. For some people, this has nothing to do with how they're going to make money. It has nothing to do with how they're supporting themselves. For some people, it is, or it could be. But I also believe that we have many lifetimes, past lives, future lives, multiple lives. And you don't have to believe in that for this to have any meaning for you, but it helps me in explaining my thoughts on this. I believe that we have these opportunities to really focus on certain soul lessons, opportunities, and it's all leading us to deeper love, deeper connection. For some, your purpose in what you have really become an expert in could be the thing that is your purpose, that helps inspire others, that helps others light up. It could be parenting. It could be raising a beautiful family. It could be supporting somebody else, caregiving. There are so many things that it could be, and it does not have to look like the amount of money you make what your house looks like, nothing like that. It's about a feeling. It is about being in alignment. The one thing I'm certain of is that my sole purpose does not come from feeling restless or frustrated or less than or anything like that in whatever I'm doing. I believe that our purpose comes from finding and being in alignment with our most authentic selves, with the parts of us that are totally tuned in and leading from that place, living from that place. It could be to live your life in such an authentic way that the people who witness it feel completely inspired. It could be sharing the hardships that you have gone through in this lifetime that have been so challenging, but then you share them and you let other people know that it's going to be okay. You give them hope. You let them realize that it doesn't have to just be suffering. I don't think we're going to feel fully connected to our purpose if we go about it seeking outside of ourselves. I think that we will have experiences outside of ourselves when we initially look within us to see what is most aligned for us and how we can show up in the world from that place, how we can support and love the people around us from that place. If it turns out to be something that you're able to support yourself by doing, then that's wonderful. But you're not going to discover it if you're just looking for the connection to it, starting with outside things. And if you love what you do, but you don't make very much money, or you don't have a degree, or you feel a little bit judged by people, and it brings you so much meaning and purpose, do that. Keep showing up to that. Tune into what really makes you feel aligned. What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? What is the thing that keeps coming up for you? The idea that gets you excited, but that you keep pushing away because it doesn't seem practical or rational, or you can't figure out how you can actually go about doing it. What is just the one step you can take to lead yourself back in that direction? There is something for me that has come up, since I can remember, and I'm not quite ready to talk about it. I'm not talking to anybody in my life about it yet, but it's something that I'll get really excited about, and then I'll kind of brush it aside and be like, no, that wouldn't work. Like, obviously, all these reasons. And then I'll kind of forget about it. And then it comes back. And I'll go a little deeper with like actually doing it. I'm not saying that that is my purpose, but it's an example of following my instinct. And I do believe that the more I do that and align and follow what my intuition is telling me to do, that is going to lead me to my purpose. And I do think I've discovered it currently. I think it can evolve and unfold and change, and that excites me. But I am finally in a place where I am more than ever making really big decisions completely based off of if they are in alignment for me or not. And as scary as it is to do it with things that are pretty big, really big, it feels so good. It feels so liberating and exciting. And I am so excited to see what else is going to unfold because of this. Even just making decisions to start or end certain things in my life where you can't really see it on the outside, but I can feel it. I already feel a million times better simply because I listened to what my intuition was telling me. And I tried to ignore it for a very, very, very long time. And it made me feel terrible. And that terrible feeling never went away. And I actually think it started to make me a little sick. So I am doing this with you, but I feel like I can actually talk about it right now because I have done it with some really big things, and I'm seeing that unfold. And soon I will talk about it in more tangible ways. But for me, one of those things has been showing up here, showing up with my meditations, teaching on Insight Timer. These were things that were not on my radar necessarily. They were, but they weren't. And doing it was, but not in this way. And I kept getting that clue. No, you have to go deeper with what you're talking about. You have to start creating meditations. I finally just thought, yeah, why not? Why don't I just do it and see? I keep getting this instinct telling me. And I've committed to following that. My word this year is actually devotion. And for me, I say that because it's about being devoted to following through on what matters absolutely the most to me, what is at my absolute core, what my soul is telling me to do. And I decided I'm just gonna go for it. I did that with one other thing in life, like big thing when I stopped drinking. And I said, let's see for 1 year. Let's just see what happens. I'm just going to commit to this and see. And I listened to the people who knew more than me. It changed my life. It completely changed my life. I still don't drink. That was 9.5 years ago. It's the best decision I've ever made. I would not be here if it weren't for that. I did not know it would impact me. I didn't know I needed to stop. But what I learned from that has shown me that following that instinct will continue to change my life. And now I have more clarity and balance than I ever have. So I cannot even imagine what will unfold from this starting point with these new adventures and seasons ahead of me. Okay, and by the way, if you are still here watching, I forgot to say this at the beginning. I let my hair air dry and I did not put product in it because I'm gonna dye it today for the first time in years. Anyway, I feel like my hair is a little cuckoo. That's why. For this first conversation on our soul's purpose, I'm gonna leave it at that, but I would love to hear your feedback on this. So please leave me a message. If you want to send me a message privately on Instagram, the link is below. I just started that. I am not as active on there, but I will get back to you. And I'm really excited for us to be on this journey together and to see how all of this unfolds. If you got anything out of this, if you want to come back for another video, please consider subscribing to my channel. It helps me so much and I love doing this. So it means so much to me. I'm so grateful you're here and I will talk to you next time. Bye.